Hello everyone, this is Marco and welcome back to my channel. Today is a very important day because we're finally back with the RubberSaurs. Today we are releasing the pre-orders for the RubberSaurs PACHYCEPHALOSAURUS. We decided to do things a little bit differently and put them up as pre-orders instead of just normal orders and see how many orders we get, which would guarantee everyone that wants one to get one. I've been receiving a lot of comments on my videos saying that many of you didn't manage to get your own RubberSaur because of limited quantities and such. So this is just an experiment, let's see how it goes, and it should help everyone that wants one to get one. They will be available for pre-order as soon as this video premiere ends. There's a link in the description to my shop and I hope to see you there. In this video we'll be using a new technique as well. We will be 3D printing the rubber itself using a special mix developed by ourselves with Resione flexible resins. It is some really crazy stuff and it is amazing, and I'll talk more about it later. I'll be showing you a quick time lapse of the sculpting process, a quick explanation on how they're printed and assembled, and then painting the figures and showing you how they work, as well as footage of it in the box. So I hope you enjoy and let's get started. So I usually sculpt with Nomad Sculpt on my iPad Pro, and this time it is no different. I started with the body and then worked on the head and then worked on the limbs. Merging different sized spheres usually helps, and I took a while blocking out everything so it's got the correct shape. I used the dinosaur style guide as reference. I went along and refined everything for hours and hours until I was happy with it. Then I split it into different sections and added the articulation points. I wanted to add an articulated jaw as well, as we don't really see that often on herbivores. I thought it would be cool to have it here. I overlapped my model over the renders on the style guide to try and get the shape as close as possible to the reference material. I hope you enjoy the rest of this time lapse and I'll catch you later. So here's the finished model with all the articulation points. It is divided in arms, legs, the belly part, the jaw, the dome head, and the body. As you can see, the jaw articulates like this. So once everything was finished, I printed a test piece on my printer to see if everything worked well, if the articulation was stiff enough, if the detail looked sharp enough in person, and if all the parts joined fine. I imported everything on Box in the correct size, laid them out, made different files for different materials, and added the supports. I saved the files and sent them off to my good friend Alex to print on his much bigger Elegoo Saturn. So we printed in two different materials. The main one for the rubber is a mix of resins made by Resione. Now Resione contacted me and asked me if I was interested in using their material, and obviously I was. It definitely speeds up the process. Instead of having to mold and cast out of rubber, if we can directly 3D print with rubber, that is amazing. We did tons and tons of testing and we ended up using a mix of F80 and F39, which makes it rubbery but also quite resilient. After many test prints, we ended up with this. And Alex also managed to pigment the parts too. He did an incredibly amazing job with this stuff and I'm really grateful. I'd like to thank Siratech for the helpful tips and just being generally a great guy. We printed the limbs and the dome head and the jaw out of solid resin. That would ensure the figure to stand properly. And here's the final unpainted product. The jaw articulates beautifully, so do the limbs, and the whole body is flexible and rubbery, which is the main thing about the RubberSaurs. So the F39 by Resione allows the material to be quite flexible and very rubbery, while the F80 adds some resilience and adds a tiny bit more toughness to it. After assembly, the next stage is painting. I will be painting the belly color, the patterns on the back, the dome head, with some dry brushing as well, the inside of the mouth, and then coating everything with some sealer. I'm using watered down acrylic paints to paint the figures, as the rubber will be able to absorb the color a bit better and prevent the color from flaking. I'll be using a mix of different brushes to blend in the colors a bit better. I'm using the Dinosaur Style Guide as reference, of course. I like mixing my own colors from primary colors, so I'm sorry to whoever asked me exactly what colors I use. I can't really tell you because I mix my own. I don't have them pre-mixed. I hope you enjoy the painting process, and I'll catch you towards the end. So this is the figure completely finished, with a coat of matte transparent sealant. As you can see, the figure is still completely flexible and articulates fine, and it stands perfectly too. We put a lot of love and effort into this one. It took us many hours of hard labor to try and get this thing as close to perfect as possible. as the Pachycephalosaurus is one of the most cool and unique dinosaurs to have ever lived. I also designed some packaging for the figure, and it should scratch everyone's nostalgia itch. I've had my good friend Ted from the Jurassic Park compound take some gorgeous pictures for the packaging. So thanks so much, Ted, you're awesome. I really hope you enjoyed this video. The figure is up for pre-order right at the end of this video premiere. The link is in the description, and thanks so much everyone for supporting our work. We really do put a lot of effort into this stuff. And if you want to support us further, I do have a Patreon. Thanks so much again for watching the video. Stay tuned for more RubberSaurs dinosaur releases. I would like to give a massive thank you to all of my Patreons. Seriously guys, your support really does mean the world to me, as it helps me do what I love for you. You help me buy materials, and most of all, you give me a helping hand with improving the quality of the content of my videos. Even if it's just a small donation, every little helps.